Hello, good evening, and welcome, and all that good stuff. It's Jellybean, and I have an advanced guide on Lucio. JK, it's actually Zenyatta. So it's been a good minute, but after a recent patch was made to balance certain heroes, I decided to come back, take another gander at my favorite freaking sport hero, the DPS machine, and this is the man of peace, the man of destruction, our boy Zenyatta. So before I get into the advanced guide, going on to the man of peace and whatnot, I'd like to put on a little few disclaimers just because I do this every video. So for one, I know I'm not anywhere near the caliber of like the high level players and whatnot. I don't have the best aim, game stats, or overall skill in general. However, I do have what I like to believe as a unique and intuitive sense of strategy. So this advanced guide is kind of a collection of that strategy. Before running, we all have to learn to stand on our 2 feet, yeah? Hence getting a grasp of the basics. So before getting into the advanced portion, I'm going to quickly go over the basics of Zenyatta. His primary fire, Orbs of Destruction, as you know, destroys targets. Pretty simple. There's a slight travel speed. Be wary, it's not hit scan. So be prepared to lead moving targets and anticipate enemy movements. His secondary fire or volley is a charge shot. Hold down your secondary fire and he will release as many orbs as you've charged up. 5 orbs is the charge limit, keep that in mind. One thing to note about this orb volley is that the orbs are charged long before the animation is finished, and Zenyatta actually releases the orbs. So for the sake of saving time in a battle where every second can count, note that once you see your ammo count go down by 5 orbs, you can actually let go of your secondary fire and Zenyatta will fire 5 orbs as soon as you release that button. His 2 abilities are Orb of Harmony and Orb of Discord. 1 orb will heal allies. To keep it short, it's a better heal than Lucio's passive heal, but it's not quite as effective as Mercy's staff. Orb of Discord is used to debuff enemies. Each orb yields high travel speed, so they reach their target nearly instantly when you apply them. Lastly, his ultimate Transcendence makes you invulnerable while healing allies within a 10 meter radius by 300 health per second. Keep in mind, any single occurrence of damage can kill an ally under your healing, such as Tracer's Pulse Bomb or Junkrat's Riptire. Also, you can still be knocked around while using your ultimate by, say, Pharah's Concussive Blast, Roadhog's ultimate, or Junkrat's Concussive Mind. That's all you need to know about Zenyatta on the road to better mastering him. To master a character, the first thing that must be done is to understand the character's strengths and the character's weaknesses. Yeah, cliche, I know, but it's cheesy, and there's no shortcut to being better. Zenyatta is an offensive healer. Keep that in mind. He is not a hyper-offensive character. He's just more offensive than others. Nicknamed the DPS machine, his abilities are what back that reputation up. With the Orb of Discord, with the Orb of Harmony, you can heal allies while simultaneously putting pressure on the enemy team by applying your Orb of Discord, which gives them a debuff, and any damage they take is increased by 50%. Because Zenyatta's healing is not as good as Mercy's, you don't want to just stick it on your tank and call it a day. Zenyatta is better as a secondary healer, topping off everyone's health and making sure no one is in the critical zone for longer than necessary. Healing should be a priority over all other actions. Personally, this is how I believe you should prioritize your impact on the battlefield with Zenyatta. 1. Healing critically wounded allies. If there is an ally within your line of sight who has lost more than 25% of their health pool, or 50% of their, say, a tank, like Reinhardt or Roadhog, I make sure I drop my healing orb on them. Always keeping a Discord on an enemy is my second priority. Why? While you're searching for that ally to give them your Orb of Harmony, you are also indirectly helping your entire team by keeping that enemy debuffed and marked while you're not providing support fire. And 3, ironically enough, using my primary fire is actually my last priority. Why would I save this for last on an offensive type hero, you might ask? It's because if your allies aren't getting healed and die, you're as good as dead. If you don't have an Orb of Discord on a target, you're only going to be doing about 40 damage with your Orb of Destruction to that target if it's a body shot. So Orb of Discord grants you 60 damage per shot because of that 50% debuff on the target. And also that debuff applies to your entire freaking team. So you know everybody is doing like 1.5 damage. The Orb of Discord not only makes you effective, it makes your whole team more deadly. So that's why I always make sure I apply my orbs before I'm even providing any kind of suppressive or supportive fire. One thing to note is that Zenyatta's ultimate comes relatively quickly compared to other heroes, so use his ultimate more sparingly to win team matches and skirmishes, as every battle you win will increase your momentum as a team and pressure as a team to dominate the match. Zenyatta's Achilles heel is that while he has the ability to make and provide fantastic DPS and moderate healing for his team while in his little safe positions, because he is kind of a sniper hero, he has no way of escaping a flank or planned attack against him if it happens, such as a surprise attack from Genji. The only way you can attempt to escape is by activating your ult and either moving away from the threat or by closing the gap with your team so they can scare him off as you're in big groups. While in Transcendence mode, Zenyatta's movement speed is doubled, so it's not to say he doesn't have a fighting chance at survival now. Now, let's talk about the environment that Zenyatta is most successful in. Zenyatta is not a primary healer. He works well with heroes who are able to either evade damage from incoming enemies or mitigate it by healing or have some kind of defensive buff. So in short, Zenyatta is a perfect support for hyper-offensive characters or characters who can heal themselves. Characters with self-healing abilities like Roadhog, Soldier 76, and Lucio greatly benefit from having an Orb of Harmony because they are able to heal themselves occasionally or constantly, allowing you to focus on healing or debuffing other targets. It's probably going to be better if you heal Roadhog and Soldier, because with that healing orb on them, they can be more aggressive, but Lucio is not aggressive enough anyway. It's just good for him to have in case you want him to like put up his speed aura and, you know, whittle around a payload and be a distraction. But back onto the topic, evasive and offensive characters like Tracer, Reaper, Genji, D.Va, Winston also synergize well with Zenyatta, because you can throw an orb on them while they go in and do their damage while providing them with some healing sustainability. On top of them distracting the enemy team, you're also able to safely pick off your targets with the Orb of Destruction after you debuff them with the Orb of Discord. As a side note, Pharah also kind of works well because she is usually 100% in line of sight while up in the air, meaning that your healing orb is not going to drop away from her. So dropping an orb on her as she casts her ultimate helps her get the whole thing off without being killed if the enemy retaliates. In short, Zenyatta provides the perfect balance between short healing sustainability and supportive DPS. Overall, I personally think that Zenyatta is best fit for hyper-offense teams, personally, but Zenyatta himself is not a hyper-offensive character. He is just a slightly more aggressive support character who specializes in small skirmishes and single target application. His healing orb allows for a character like Genji and Winston to safely overextend by weaving in and out of the enemy, decomposing their defenses, and his Orb of Discord gives your offensive heroes who are doing that damage, or who maybe may not have that Orb of Harmony on them. Either way, your Orb of Discord gives your offensive heroes a damage boost against priority targets. And his ultimate charges rather quickly, allowing for quick bursts of offensive and even defensive momentum within a firefight. If you've got an effective Zenyatta on your team, then your team will walk along the path to victory. Leave a like if you found this video useful, and comment with your own thoughts on your Zenyatta. If you have any tips, I'd love to hear them, because I'm definitely not the perfect gamer. With all that being said, have an excellent day, and until the next time, friends, I'll see you later.